Hello, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got a couple of the popular micro compacts on the market. I've got the FN Reflex and I've got the Springfield Hellcat. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis Axe and Core belts. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. And please consider supporting the channel on Player, formerly Utreon, where we can do some types of videos that are no longer allowed on YouTube. These are representatives of that micro compact high capacity 9mm thing that's been all the rage lately. And the Hellcat is a little more mature of a line than the Reflex that's over there. But the key to these things is they're small. This thing's 6 inches front to back. It's only 4 inches tall with the flush magazine that I just took out that holds 11 rounds, and they're only 1 inch thick. Now, one thing you'll note, the grip looks thicker. Put this Hogue grip sleeve on it, only because these are so narrow. If you've got larger hands, it can be hard to get a hold of it. So the grip sleeve is here simply for that. There's nothing wrong with the grip, and Hammer wanted it because he's got larger hands to fit comfortably. The FN Reflex has a grip sleeve, but for a different reason that I'll get to. But they come, pretty much the grip is the same size all the way down. They're about 1 inch thick. You can see that the Hellcat has U-dot sights. The front dot is a tritium with the ring on it. And I like that type of a setup with the tritium with a ring, whether it's on the front, back, or both. That ring makes it easy to see during the day because tritium sights on their own during the day tend to go gray, kind of hard to see. So the ring gives you the best of both worlds. This particular one is available with a fiber optic front sight as well, but of course that doesn't give you any night capacity. And it is available in an optics ready. They call it the OSP line. A few other things about the Hellcat. It's, as I mentioned, it's a more mature product line. It's been around for a while. There's about 15 variants of it. They come in colors. They come in a Pro. There's actually a thumb safety version of these available. You can get state compliant versions. You can get a version of this that has the optic already installed. So they've kind of really had some time to flesh this line out, and they've done an excellent job of it. In fact, I have a Pro here that I'll be using for a trigger demonstration. And this has got the threaded barrel and their latest generation of the factory trigger. So I'm going to put this Hellcat down for a minute, and I'm going to talk about the FN Reflex, which is a little bit newer arrival in the territory. And it has a Hogue grip sleeve as well. And without it, it would be 1 inch thick, just like the Hellcat would be. So this thickness that you see being this grip. But this one's got it for a different reason. And that reason is the magazine. The back of the magazine is relatively square. Now this one isn't quite so square because I actually had to file it down. But one problem I had with the Reflex was that with the magazine in it, if you look at the back of the gun, the back of the magazine sticks out a little bit from the curvature of the frame. So it actually puts it in a position where it can bite into your hand. And when I gripped it, it would hit right here. And now right now it's not doing it because I filed it, but otherwise it would put a little red dot there. It actually made it a little unpleasant to shoot. I'd hoped the grip sleeve would kind of move my hand a little bit and solve that problem. It didn't, but filing the magazine did. And the Hellcat doesn't suffer from that because two reasons. One, you can see the magazine is more flush with the grip. And also if I turn it up, you can see the curvature of the frame lines up with the back of the magazine. So the magazine doesn't stick out from the frame curvature. So I don't care what size hands you've got, you're not going to feel the back of the magazine on the Springfield. But on the FN Reflex, depending on the size and shape of your hands, you may feel the back of that magazine. The extended magazines don't do it because, of course, they're longer and the space plate's further down away from your hand. But I found that to be one kind of a design defect. That was a kind of an ergonomic oops on their part. Other than that, the Reflex has been a reliable gun. This is available in fewer variants. You've got the FDE that you see here. It's also available in a black, and it's available in both colors with what they call MRD, an optics ready variant. And like the Hellcat, it has a front sight with a ring and tritium, so you got that night capability, and the rear sight is 2 white dots. And whether you like U-dot, where it's an actual U like the Springfield, whether you like the square U that the Glocks have, or the 3 dots, fundamentally they're all the same. So you've got rear and front sighting capability. So other than that, there's a lot of other similarities between them. This grip actually is designed to fit the Hellcat. This isn't that universal one. And interestingly enough, the same grip is the one, the grip sleeve. The same grip sleeve is the one that also fits the FN. Now, by now they may have made one specific to the FN Reflex, but this is the Hellcat grip sleeve that I put on here. And of course I bought the FDE one to match the body of the gun. It's not that hand-all universal one that they've got. It's actually custom made to fit the gun. And Hogue does that. When a gun becomes popular, especially these tiny little things, they'll make grip sleeves that are factory customized to the gun. Both of them have very similar ergonomic features. They both have a single slot Picatinny rail. They both have front and rear serrations. Of course, they look different, but both are equally functional, easy to get a hold of. Both use the turn lever style takedown. No tools required to take them down. And the Hellcat nor the FN Reflex are ambidextrous. They don't have a slide stop slide release on the other side. The magazine catches are reversible on both, but it's only on one side. From a dimensional standpoint, ignoring of course the grip sleeve, the FN Reflex is just a bit bigger than the Hellcat. 6.2 front to back for the FN versus 6 for the Hellcat. 4.27 top to the bottom with the flush mag versus the Hellcat at 4 inches even. They're both 1 inch thick. The Hellcat has a 3-inch barrel and the FN has a 3.3 inch barrel. That amount of barrel difference is not going to make a significant velocity difference, but of course it does add a little bit of length to the gun. As far as those numbers, they're not significantly different enough to make a difference of what you can carry. If you can carry one, most likely you can carry the other in that same position. The Springfield wins a little bit on weight too, 17.9 ounces versus 18.4, but again, we're talking a half ounce here. So none of the specifications, the numbers are going to make a difference. They both hold 11 rounds in their flush magazines. Capacity, maximum capacity, there is a difference. As of the making of this video, the FN Reflex's largest magazine is a 15, so you can get an 11 or a 15. The Hellcat has fleshed out that line, so you can get an 11, a 13, a 15, and now a 17. Now the 17s are primarily made for the pro, but with the grip sleeves that they provide, they'll integrate well with the grip, so you can actually put a 17 round magazine in here and it won't just hang down into space where no place to put your finger. It will integrate well with the grip. So I would say that time on the market has given Springfield a good opportunity to make the Hellcat line more robust than what the FN has been able to do so far, and Springfield's prone to that. When you get to pricing, street prices are going to vary, of course, but MSRP is pretty much the same on the two of these. Both of these, the MSRP for the black version, that like you would see here, the Hellcat, or the black FN Reflex is $599, and for the FDE versions of both guns are $659. Then, of course, depending on the Hellcat, if you get with the optic installed, the optic's ready, or if you get the MRD version of the FN, the prices vary from that. But for the basic gun, they're basically the same price. So let's talk about the triggers, because that's an area where they're different. So this critter, the FN Reflex, is a hammer-fired gun. Now, it works to you like a striker gun. There's no exposed hammer, and the functionality, it behaves like a striker-fired gun, but there are a few differences in the feel of the trigger. So, reasonable take-up. They use the hinge trigger for their inertial safety. Both of these do have drop safeties. And once I do the take-up, there's a little bit more, almost felt like take-up, to put a little pressure on it, and then you hit this very short, light, crisp wall. It's a really nice wall, really easy to pull through. Then I reset it. The reset is effectively all the way back out, not the full take-up, but all the way back out of where I was originally on the wall. Then that same second little bit of take-up to get on the wall, and then that short, crisp wall. FN Reflex has quite a nice trigger. Now for the trigger demonstration for the Hellcat, I'm not going to use the one with the red trigger because I don't want it to look like the Hellcat's getting some kind of an advantage. So I'm going to use this one, which just got the plastic trigger that comes from Springfield. And this is their second generation. It's the latest generation of the factory trigger. It uses the inertial toggle for the inertial safety. As I mentioned before, this has a thumb safety available. Both of these have the internal drop safety pistons. So let's try this trigger out. About the same take-up, actually a little bit shorter than the FN Reflex. And now I'm on a bit of a softer wall with a bit of a pull-through. So it's not a really short, crisp wall, but it's smooth, no stacking or anything else. Then the reset, and the reset's a little bit shorter than the reflex. Just a hair take up to get back up onto that wall. And then again, there's a bit of a pull through, but it's smooth and consistent to the brake. And you can see there's an over travel stop here at the back. So I would say both of these triggers are good triggers. They're both fully functional triggers. It's going to kind of come down to what you like. I tend to like a defined wall, a short, crisp, defined wall. So I'm a little more partial to the type of trigger you'd find in the reflex. Others like a little bit of a smoother pull through with, kind of a little bit of travel. And of course that would be the Hellcat. But I could tell you, both these triggers perform well at the range. The guns work reliably. Neither of these triggers gives you any hard time staying on target. And neither one of these is a hair trigger, so it's not like one of these is going to be excessively light. So coming down to the end, these guns are so similar, it's going to kind of come down to why would you choose one or the other. So I'm going to put this Pro aside because this isn't really the topic of it. I'm back to these two. Between the two, I found them both to be reliable. They worked with whatever ammo we had. They are easy to shoot well, they're easy to control, recoil's almost the same. The biggest differences you're really going to find are the two triggers and just the way they fit and feel in your hand. Though I do like the crisper wall that the Hellcat, or I'm sorry, the FN Reflex has, overall the Hellcat just kind of fit in my hand better, it felt better, just the shape and ergonomics of it, it just kind of felt a little bit better. And the magazine, which I don't have in here at the moment, didn't bite into my hand without needing to be filed. The Springfield's got a long track record. We've had Springfields for quite some time and not had any trouble with them. So, and including these Hellcats. Now, FN does have a good reputation, so I'm not saying the Hellcat's not, or FN's not reliable. I just haven't got as much track record with it. So between the two, because they're so close together, you're getting down to nitpicky things that's going to make the difference for you, not big differences overall. I probably would choose the Hellcat, but I think it really will come down to pick it up, hold it, do the sight picture, operate the trigger, and decide what works best for you, because really it's going to come down to the feel in your hand more so than my opinion or anybody else's, and there's nothing else standing out dimensionally or reliability-wise that's going to make a significant sway one way or the other. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Player, Rumble. We're pretty much everywhere. And thank you.